Hey guys, thanks so much for coming to this Spring Into Clean event. I am super excited to share with you tonight. I'm really excited just to present you with some information to get you to, start thinking about different things and ways that you can make your family the healthiest that it can possibly be. So I'm going to go ahead and start screen sharing with my presentation, and we will go over questions at the very end, and I will stop recording at that point. So 1 second here while I share my screen. We will get this started. Okay. So, safe for you, your home, and your planet. We really believe that your home should be the healthiest place and the safest place that it possibly can in the whole world. And that's why I'm excited to share this with you, because my home is, my basic foundation. I spend all my time here for the most part because I am a stay-at-home mom. And so this is our environment, and that's why I'm so passionate about it. And I've really found something that I love that has made my job easier and just given me a peace of mind that I think is really amazing to have as a mom, because we're always trying to do the best for our kids. Whether you're a mom or not, you're always trying to do the best for somebody or yourself or your environment and that kind of thing. So let's go ahead and get started. So the real dirt on clean here. Okay. I've got a few facts highlighted that I really think are important. But 81,000 chemicals have been registered with the US EPA in the past 30 years. And I think that's pretty crazy. That's a ton of chemicals registered. But I think to me, what's even scarier is how many chemicals have not been even registered yet. How many haven't been tested? How many of these chemicals, it says only 20% have been tested for toxicity. That's pretty crazy. 90% of all poison exposures occur at home, which I can attest to because our kids get into stuff all the time. Today was an intense day of getting into everything all day long. And we'll get into that peace of mind a little bit later. But here's another fact for you. 218,316 reported poison exposures in 2005 were from household cleaning products. Okay. These are your basic cleaners you're keeping in your cabinet. And, even when we're the best that we possibly can be at keeping those away from kids, you never know when you could just leave a bottle on the counter, while you go and take care of another mess or, go and do something else just for a few minutes. And that's all it takes for, your kids or your pet to get into a hazardous cleaner. Another one here that's interesting, indoor pollutants come from all sorts of chemicals. It's not just the ones that are in the bottles that are labeled. It can be anything from paints, carpets, furniture, personal care products. I mean, think of like hairspray or something where you're spraying those fumes right in your space, or your skincare. There's a lot of chemicals in that we don't even think about, and all of this is polluting our indoor air. And if you're like me, typically we've lived in a wintry environment, and that means we spend a lot of time indoors. And that's something that we don't think about. We think about our home as being the safest place, but we really have to ask ourselves, is it? And so moving on, I find these facts very interesting because to me, I grew up with siblings who struggle with asthma, and my husband himself, when he was younger, he had athletes-induced asthma or exercise-induced asthma, and he's grown out of that as he's gotten older. But it just got me thinking, like, how many children have asthma because of the contaminants in our house? And is it something that we can be proactive to remove from our homes, and then it will have an effect on our children in a positive manner? The asthma rates in children under 5 have increased more than 160% from 1980 to 1984. That is a huge percentage, and so then we have to ask ourselves, well, what's changed? What has changed from 1980 to 1994 that is increasing, the asthma rates in children? Is it just better, doctors and medical advances that they're recognizing it sooner, or is it something else? Common household cleaners and appliances give off fumes. Think about, I guess when I was a kid, I had to clean the bathroom. That was my job. And I was all about getting it as clean as possible and using the best chemicals that I possibly could. And I remember it was super weird, but I would smell peppers the rest of the day after cleaning the bathroom. And it never dawned on me that I was probably killing my brain cells. But other than that, it's a wonder I didn't have asthma just from doing that. As you can read this quote here from Dr. Herbert Needleman. He's a pediatrician, and I mean, basically what he thinks is that, we're conducting this huge experimental science project, but unfortunately our children are the test subjects, and we're not going to see the results until much later down the road when, unfortunately, at that point, it's going to be too late, and the issues will already be there, and they won't be at a point where you can prevent them any longer. If you look at the handwriting here, obviously the first handwriting at the top is not as good as the handwriting in the middle. And again, at the bottom, it's messy again. And what's interesting about this is a child who was exposed to Pine Sol and Lysol as a young child. And just when they stopped using those two specific cleaners, their handwriting improved dramatically. And then when they reintroduced them again to make sure, just to see like, well, maybe this was a fluke or, something else was going on under the surface, but the handwriting went back to what it was before. And it's a very bold and clear example of, what these cleaners in our house are possibly doing to our health. And I mean, that's pretty crazy to me. And then you have to ask yourself, are you living in a toxic home? And I do want to point out here that this webinar is not to make you feel bad about yourself or to make you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm poisoning my kids. This webinar is to just get you thinking about what you're using and, and just getting you educated on the fact that, maybe we need to look a little deeper into the products that we're using. Maybe we need to read labels. Maybe we need to actually call companies. And I'm going to talk about that in a couple of slides in a minute. But just think about when you're done with a product or, a cleaner, what do we do with it? Well, we toss it out, right? But actually, that's not the right way to do it. I mean, I don't know how many times I've just thrown stuff in the trash because I'm done with it. And I never even gave it a second thought about, this is probably going to go sit in a landfill and be absorbed into the ground, which is our earth. So it's just a good question to ask yourself. And, along with that, what's under your sink? Like I said, I used all the kinds of crazy chemicals when I was younger and when I first got married and for a long time until I found Shaklee, and I was a huge bleach user. If I could bleach it, I did. I bleached everything all the time. And I thought that I was doing a good thing. I thought that I was killing all the bacteria, which I was. I was killing all the bacteria and the yucky stuff, but I was also killing my brain cells and setting off those fumes in our home. And just the other day, I ran into a lady in our neighborhood who was out for a walk because her house was airing out after she had done her spring cleaning. And to me, I'm just thinking like, oh my gosh, we need to get you some Shaklee, But the thing is, people don't know, we don't know that there are other alternatives and things that work and that there are other options. So, what can you do? That's a really good question. What can you do? Like I said, you need to get educated. Go to the information here, the National Institutes of Health Household Products Database, and find what you have in your home. Look to see what chemicals are in it, and then you can see which brands contain them, and you can check and see if you have those brands and you're using them. You can look up how toxic it is, and just the specific health information for the chemical. And then, if you do decide that you need, if it's empty or you're ready to get rid of it, you need to dispose of it in the proper way. And then finding safer choices, because we can't just toss all the toxic chemicals and then what? I mean, what do we clean with? Well, then we're stuck cleaning with vinegar and baking soda, which I tried that for a while, and unfortunately it doesn't smell very good, and I would rather have no scent than that scent. I know a lot of people who swear by it, but I just am not one of them, and it just was not for me. It's not something I could do every day, all day long. So then that brings us to Shaklee. And I am so, so thankful that I found Shaklee products for our cleaners. We've replaced everything in our house that is a household cleaner, everything from laundry detergent to dishwasher soap to liquid hand wash, you know, our basic multi-purpose cleaners. We've replaced it all. And the great thing is it's not just some fad that's popped up overnight. It is a company that has been producing these and creating these products for 50 years, over 50 years, that are helping the planet, helping people. There's that longevity. There's, you know, the research behind it. And it's not just something with a really cool advertisement or some really cool taglines that, you know, make you want to get it. And in 1960, Shaklee introduced Basic H, which was the first biodegradable, non-toxic cleaner. So, you know, Shaklee is not only really into, you know, natural health, but we're also, you know, innovative. You know, we're creating these products before other people are because, you know, we see the value in not only protecting our health, but protecting the planet. And that was in 1960, you know, I mean, back when non-toxic, I don't even know if biodegradable was that even a word back then, you know. Basic H was selected as the official Earth Day product, you know, and it's been using these different products and by different environmental groups. And actually the White House deemed the Get Clean kit as the official cleaner of the White House, which is a really interesting fact. And Oprah also really likes the Get Clean kits. I know Roger Barnett, our president and CEO, was on her show talking about the Get Clean kit, and she's totally on board and loves the products herself. So very interesting. And, you know, for this slide here, I think when I was searching for products, I felt like I could find something that was powerful, but I couldn't find something that was green or safe. I could find something that was green, but I couldn't find something that was powerful and smart. You know, I felt like I was always compromising on something from this. I couldn't find anything that was safe, powerful, green, and smart. And I found that in the Get Clean kit. And it's pretty amazing. And we're going to kind of get into, you know, what's in it. But, you know, just like I had said at the beginning of this, we believe that the home should be the safest place in the whole world because that is where we spend most of our time. And the thing about Shaklee is it's not necessarily what's in it that's important, which it is important. And Shaklee is very dedicated to the purity and potency of what is in it. But more importantly, it's what's not in it these days. All of these harmful ingredients listed here, you will never find in a Shaklee product. And unfortunately, a lot of companies say that. And as time goes on, it's not always true. And we're seeing that, you know, unfortunately, products are having these ingredients in them. And it's really sad when you trust in a company and they let you down like that. And Shaklee, I can rest you assured here that Shaklee has never, ever had one single recall on any product ever in the history of Shaklee. And that is pretty cool. And that is because Shaklee is dedicated to the research, the effectiveness, the purity, the potency, the quality, and testing to make sure that these things aren't in the products. They're not in the ingredients, not in the raw ingredients. They're not in any part of any Shaklee product. And that's a really big deal nowadays. And, you know, we don't believe you should have to sacrifice your powerful convictions for powerful cleaners and vice versa. Like I was talking about, I feel like if I wanted a powerful cleaner, I really needed to get something that was, you know, name brand, top of the line. But then I felt like I was harming my children because I really believed in trying, you know, in trying to raise them in this natural environment. And so it was always conflicting. And so I love that about Shaklee, that it works, you know. I'm just going to go through all these real quick here. But it works. That's the thing. It works. I tried a lot of products that were natural and they didn't work very well. And I tried a lot of products that were really expensive and promised to be the best. And again, they didn't work very well. There was always something about them, like I said, that I was compromising on. But that's the thing with Shaklee. I've been using them now for about 3 years, and I'm still extremely happy with how they work. For example, just one example, I accidentally wrote on one of my new shirts the other day. I had just gotten this workout shirt and I was sitting down writing in my journal and I accidentally wrote on it. And I still wore it the rest of the day. So it's set on my shirt all day long. And then I threw it in the dirty clothes and it probably sat there for a few more days. And when I went to put it in the wash, I looked at it and I was like, oh man, that's never going to come out. And I'll tell you what, it came out of the dryer, totally clean, no marks left on it. And I didn't spray it. I didn't soak it. I didn't do anything. I just washed it with Shaklee's liquid detergent. Love it. One of my favorite products because I can actually use it. I don't itch. I can use the fabric softener, which I've never been able to use one in my whole life because they make me break out from head to toe and itch. Our kids have sensitive skin as well, and we've been able to use these with no problems whatsoever. And I love every single product that we have from Shaklee for cleaning because they work, they're safe, and they do what they say, and they don't have what they say they don't have in them. And it's a green clean. It is sustainable ingredients from natural sources. It's recyclable packaging. It's recyclable wipes, dryer sheets. It doesn't have all this junk in it that, just several years ago, all the leading dishwash detergents had to remove phosphates because, the rest of the world was finding that they weren't good for our environment and they were not good for the water sources and the rivers that they were running off into. And I'll tell you what, as soon as they removed those, it didn't work very well. But Shaklee's never used phosphates, and it does always work. So it can be done. Maybe people just don't know how to do it yet. But Basic H2 is one of my favorite products. I say that about every product, but it's true. I use this one all day long, every day. And I think the best part about it is that this one bottle, which is 16 ounces, I probably buy a new one maybe once every 2 years, if that. I know I still have my original bottle that I bought from Alyssa 3 years ago, and it's getting pretty low, but I've also given samples out of it, and I use it for everything. I spray my fruit with it to get all the nasty residue off. I put it in my kids' bath if they have a rash, and it always helps clear it up. I put it in there for bubbles. I've washed my hair with it before when I ran out of shampoo. I've used it for everything, and I love that. Even if our kids got into it and drank it, I was talking to a guy who works for poison control, and he's one of the responders, and he works in the emergency area. And I was asking him about Shaklee, just seeing what his take on it was, if he, as an outside person who had no, ties to Shaklee at all, what he thought about it. And he was saying, yeah, when we have people call in, because it is so concentrated, you still need to dilute it and drink a lot of water or whatever if you were to ingest it. He said, but because it's all natural, there are no further steps that we have to take, and there's no harm that's caused. And I thought that was really cool to get his perspective on that because, like I said, he doesn't know anything about Shaklee, other than the fact that it's non-toxic and natural, and it is safe for us and for our kids. But it is one of my favorite products, and I use it for everything. Over 1,001 uses, which is a long list. But it makes all of these different cleaners. For the all-purpose cleaner, all you need is 16 ounces of water and a 1/4 teaspoon of Basic H2. That's a lot. That's less than 5 cents per bottle. Okay, this is where it saves so much money. I have saved so much money since we switched just because it works and I keep using it. But because it's just so inexpensive to make as it is, because it comes in concentrated form. Window cleaner takes 2 drops of Basic H2. That's less than 1 cent per bottle for window cleaner. The degreaser is just 1.5 teaspoons. And you know what? Honestly, I use this on our kitchen table a lot because I swear our kids spill glue from their plates all the time. And it's all I do is I spray it on. I let it sit for a couple minutes. I go back and I wipe it all off. It all wipes off. I don't have to scrub And I love how well it works. It works great for any sticky, goopy mess and that kind of thing. So like I said, it's smart for your wallet. It truly is. It saves you so much money. It's smart for your family because it's safe for them actually, and your kids can help you use it. You can teach them skills for cleaning, and get them, to start doing chores and to feel safe about it and not to have to, monitor them the whole time because you're afraid they're going to, hurt themselves with with getting burned or just inhaling something they shouldn't. And it's smart for the planet. I recently read that just in the last couple of years, the Get Clean kits that were sold have saved the planet enough waste that it could circle the earth like 2 times in the bottles that it's kept out of landfills. So that's pretty crazy. Look at this, the Get Clean kit. You would have to buy all of these. You would end up spending over $3,400 to get the same cleaning power from major brands, and these are, bottles that are already mixed, they're not in concentrate form. So it's not going to last as long. One bottle and it's gone and you have to replace it. Whereas Shaklee, you just, put more water in your bottle and put more H2 and you're good to go. Saves trips to the grocery store too. I don't have to buy more cleaning products when I run out. So that's a lot of money saved. So what does it contain? What does the Get Clean kit contain? Okay, you get all of this stuff on here. Okay, one of my other really convenient, great mom things is the Germ Off disinfecting wipes. I love these because I can clean the bathroom in about 1 minute, really, really fast. I can wipe down all the surfaces. I can wipe down the toilet. And, I can even clean the floor with it. Like I'll just, wipe down the floor real quick and it's good to go. Of course, I have days where I do a more deep clean, but with our kids and how messy they get in the bathroom, it's awesome to just be able to do that. But yeah, you get all of this stuff and you get these cleaning accessories and that's a lot. That's a lot of stuff that you get. And like I said, it saves all these things. It makes a difference when you buy a kit like this. When you switch brands, that's all you're doing. You're switching your brands. You're moving from one that's kind of harmful and not so good for your family to something that is really good for your family, really good for your environment, and it saves all this stuff. Environmentally, it's equivalent to planting 10 trees. Think about that. We need air to breathe and trees to make air. And, that's pretty cool. So obviously, you shouldn't have to sacrifice the world or your health for getting a good clean in your house. That doesn't make sense at all, does it? So let's think about this. What can you do after doing this? What is your course of action? You need to get educated. Look at what you have. See, what's in it. Make your decision. Get rid of the hazardous chemicals that are not good for your health or for the environment. And then look into the Get Clean kit because it honestly is the best option out there for replacing what you have, saving you money, and saving your health. And how can you get started? I love this. The Get Clean kit, you're going to fall off your chair. The Get Clean kit is only $99 and it gives you a free membership, which is a $19.95 value. And that gives you a ton of benefits. You get 15% off all your products when you order. You get your own login ID so you can be in charge of your own ordering that comes right to your house. You get the ability to do auto ship, which saves another 10% on certain products and kits. And there's no annual fees. You don't have to renew every year. There's no monthly minimums. It is the best way to be partnered with Shaklee if you want to use the products. And also, like I said, the scour off on here for watching this webinar today, you get that for free, which is pretty awesome. And if you order the Get Clean kit within 2 days of watching this webinar, I'm going to give you another gift. Because I think it's such an incredible value that I want to reward you even more for making this decision and switching brands. So that is the presentation. And I am so thankful that you guys watched this. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen here and go back to the main one. But I'm so glad that you took the time to be on this webinar and to listen. I know we're all so busy, but if you take anything away from this webinar, I really just hope that it gets you thinking about what you can do to make your home the healthiest home that it can be for you, for your family, and for the environment. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you.